1971, I was a freshman student at Northwest Christian College. First Bible class I took was The Life of Christ with Dr. Ward A. Rice of blessed memory. It was everything I'd hoped that Christian college would be. It opened the door on a whole new part of life. I loved Dr. Rice, and I loved The Life of Christ. The three books that he assigned as our textbooks were Himes' Harmony of the Gospels, Revised Standard Version. Mine's a little worse for wear. He had us use The Life and Teachings of Jesus by James Stewart, and he had us use E. Stanley Jones's The Christ of the Mount. For a year, these were the books that we lived with in that Life of Christ class. As you can see, I still have them. Here, 45 years later, I still have these books. And what's intriguing to me is I still use them. These are books that I still refer to constantly, especially E. Stanley Jones's The Christ of the Mount. I've got lots of books. You can kind of see, and that's just some of them. If you would scan the office, you would see I've got thousands of books. Read them all. And I sometimes play a game in my head. I sometimes think if I could just be limited to 10 of these books, which 10 would I take with me? And while the list changes from season to season in my life, E. Stanley Jones's The Christ of the Mount is always on that list, very close to the top. This book changed my life. This book changed my thinking. One of the things that Jones does in this book is to talk about how the gospel has two sides. It's got what he calls the redemptive sides, the message of what Jesus Christ did for us, and the demand that we believe these things. And it also has an ethical side, a description of the things that Jesus taught with the demand that we live in obedience to those things. These are the two sides of the gospel, E. Stanley Jones said. And the dilemma that we find ourselves in as Christians constantly is these things have a tendency to fly apart. They're supposed to exist in balance. The redemptive side of the gospel, the ethical side of the gospel, have a tendency to fly apart. My conservative friends tend to be those who emphasize the redemptive side, the message of belief and the things that Jesus did. My progressive friends tend to be on the other side, the ethical side, on the side of the gospel where behavior, believing what Jesus said and behaving in the ways that he commanded, that's where they come down. In fact, some of my progressive friends have begun to wear a new title. They've begun to call themselves red letter Christians, saying they're going to emphasize the red letter sections of the Gospels, the voice of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus. And I don't have any quarrel with that. I try to be a whole Bible Christian, not a partial Bible Christian. And so I'm as much in favor of the red letters as I am in favor of the black letters. It's holding it together that's the trick. Almost Holy Week. Palm Sunday's coming up next week, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday. We're going to be in the intensive part of our faith's journey. And it occurs to me that Holy Week is not a red letter section of the Bible. It occurs to me that Holy Week is a black letter section of the Bible. We're not going to go to the Lord's table next week, and I'm not going to stand there and read the Sermon on the Mount. I'm going to go to the Lord's table, and I'm going to read black letters. I'm going to tell the story of what Jesus Christ did for us in his death, his burial, and his resurrection. And I'm going to, in that message, in that emphasis, I'm going to try to build the basis for what we do with that after we've believed that, how our behavior begins to conform to our beliefs. John Galloway is a retired Presbyterian minister, works with Tony Campolo for the Red Letter Christians. These are his words. He says, I'm a red letter Christian because the black letters about Jesus have changed my life. The black letters about the work of Christ is why the red letter words of Christ matter so much to me. Next week is a black letter week, and it's the foundation for why the red letters will matter so much in the months and years to come.